Good morning, everyone. For record sake. So, anything related to prelims, Umang, today? Any prelims questions you made?
Yes, sir. One is regarding the exercise Milan. Prevention of money laundering act. The ED comes under which department?
Which department and which ministry?
Department of Revenue.
Department of Revenue.
Ministry of Finance.
Ministry of Finance. Economic Intelligence Unit. It is also under Department of same Ministry of Finance. Both are under Ministry of Finance. So Prevention of Money Laundering Act is being enforced by whom? Enforcement Directorate only. Again, Ministry is
Finance.
Finance Ministry. Okay. What is Article 131? Article 131. That's also the next question. I asked her. When I ask you, you answer. Okay. Yes. What is Article 131? Who has original jurisdiction? Supreme Courts or High Courts? Both of them have original jurisdiction. Narayan? Do both High Courts and State Supreme Courts have original jurisdiction, or is it only reserved for Supreme Court? What comes under original jurisdiction of Supreme Court? No, it's not there in Lakshmikant.
So the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court consists of solving federal cases, center and center, state to state, and also violation of fundamental rights.
So violation of fundamental rights is original jurisdiction. I cannot go to High Court.
It's not a part of it.
Is it a part or is it not a part?
It's a part of both Supreme Court and High Court, sir.
It's a jurisdiction.
Fundamental rights.
Anything else? Anything else under original jurisdiction of Supreme Court? Srinivas?
The commercial.
Read Lakshmikant. Still reading. When will it be completed?
Next week.
Next week. Already read once. Santosh? Now tell me, what comes under original jurisdiction? What all comes under original jurisdiction? Nothing else is there?
It's there.
Lavanya, start chesara. Till which chapter? Basics done. First 5 or 6 chapters done. No. First 3. Acha, directly selected chapters. Narayan, how many times have you read Lakshmikant? 1 time only. You? 2 to 3 times. Yes, what is the answer? Come on. What all comes under original jurisdiction?
Disputes, conflicts between state and state, two states and
Same,
center
whatever
state.
she said.
And commercial disputes are exemption to original jurisdiction. High Court doesn't have original.
High Court does not have original jurisdiction. Okay.
River water disputes between two
River
states.
water disputes between two states. It comes under Supreme Court, or it
Yes,
does
sir.
not comes under Supreme Court. It's an exemption, I guess.
Yes, sir. Article
Hmm.
263.
Why do we have water bodies?
Water body.
Interstate river water dispute settlement authorities. Pre-constitutional treaties.
Yes, sir.
It's an exemption, or does it come under original jurisdiction?
It's exemption.
There was a case.
Pre-constitution.
So why are you so confused? Simple, right? Anything that is pre-constitution, okay, there is no other there is no better competent authority than Supreme Court to tell whether it applies today or it does not. The same applies to the president under Article 143, right? When president asks, right, the Supreme Court have a choice to say yes or no. Okay, Supreme Court have a choice to say yes or no. But when it comes to pre-constitutional treaties, it will clearly say it has to give an opinion. There is no choice for now it all strikes. Okay.
Because anything is there in news that you asked this question.
Hmm?
Because anything is there.
Which one?
Original jurisdiction. of Supreme Court.
Right? So see, when I read, as I told you, when I see that article, all these things run within microseconds within my mind. That is a proper preparation. I read Lakshmikant those many months ago. I didn't revise. That is an excuse. Why? Every day you get an opportunity to revise. Yesterday I revised something else. Today I am revising something else. Yesterday there was an article about delimitation commission. Yes or no? There is an article about delimitation commission. I have asked you basic questions. So what is your primary responsibility? To read something about delimitation commission. So yesterday I gave you some homework. I said something to find out something. No homework yesterday. No, I gave some homework. Probably. Okay. Delimitation commission. Who are the members of delimitation commission? If the is the chief election commissioner of India a member of delimitation commission? No. Okay. Can the orders of delimitation commission be questioned in a court of law?
No.
Do you know? Or you are thinking
No, sir. I know.
Cannot be.
they cannot be? And who appoints?
President.
President of India. So whether election commission of India is a member, whether the election commissioner of that particular state is a member, or who are the members, tomorrow you tell me. Delimitation commission members. Okay. Right. Quick revision of polity again. This time Srinivas will tell us. Tell me 5 reasons why Indian constitution is considered as biased towards union. Make them good points. During? There was no center during constitutional framing, right? Okay. That is why union is stronger. Think 5 points. Santosh, 5 points. Okay. 3 only. Did you like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha? Unitary bias. Does it apply there? Can we use that as an argument to say center is more powerful than states because Lok Sabha overrides Rajya Sabha in lot of things. So Rajya Sabha is a representative of state governments more or less. So can I use that argument to say yes? In that sense, yeah, Parliament, Lok Sabha is more powerful. It is biased towards unitary. Cess and surcharge, fiscal federalism. Can I use that argument to say yes, union is more powerful? Cess and surcharge, financial devolution.
Sir, why it was given at the
No.
time of making constitution?
Why not? The question was not why it is powerful. I said
What provisions?
what makes union biased.
One is emergency.
Emergency. All India services. All India services is a unitary bias. Think about it. They select and they help you have officers. Union selects, but it is the states who maintain. It's a state cadre, right? They are allocating you state cadre. So all India services more or less can be called as unifying the country.
Concurrent list.
See, he's able. You have the power to transfer him, suspend him. You can use him in any posting as you need. So states are having all the powers over IAS officers, even salaries. Technically speaking, not salaries. Technically speaking, the entire working provision. So union government is electing, but it is giving you the power to do whatever you want to do with IAS officers, all India services especially.
The Supreme Court or High Courts?
It does not even come. Union list, state list, and concurrent list. Residual powers go to union list. What else?
In concurrent list, if a law is made, and if there is
Center
a
have the
conflict,
power to override.
center
Okay.
And reorganizing and redrawing state boundary powers
Okay.
and constitutional amendments. So when it comes to constitutional amendments,
If two or
Parliament
more states demand, automatically it can bring in a new law even on state list. Yes or no? Even if an item is in state list, if two or more states demand the union to pass a law, it can override the state laws. But state will have autonomy to adapt or not. That is voluntary, right? So why are we discussing this? So there is an article. There is a demand. Actually, it's an interview question, not mains question, but mostly interview they will ask this kind of questions. So recently, KCR, the Chief Minister of Telangana, has suggested that the constitution should be amended in lines with the distribution of powers. Okay, so states should have some amount of respect. States should have some power. We have seen Tamil Nadu Finance Minister also writing articles on a regular basis saying that financially, fiscal federalism wise, states are not having the full freedom. Especially after GST, it has become more unitary biased. Now union government have all the power in the world. Even in taxation part also, if you take center is pooling more in the cess and surcharges. More money is going into cess and surcharge. What is the advantage there? Cess and surcharge do not have to be shared with the states. Yes or no? So that can also be a reason. See, all these are friction points between union and center, and it is making union appear like it is more powerful. Okay. So in that sense, he suggested that devolution of powers should happen. There should be a change in constitution. This particular author, enters into constitutional assembly debates, so on and so forth. But in my personal opinion, I think he fails to discuss about article schedule 11 and schedule 12. What are schedule 11 and schedule 12? Panchayatis and municipalities. How many items are there?
under the subjects.
Is it important? Not important.
29, 26 or 29
So how many states in India have devolved all the powers? So what is the function of 11th schedule and 12th schedule? I mean, why did they create 11th schedule and a 12th schedule? Okay, fine. 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments have created something called as 11th and 12th schedule. Okay. Why did they list certain items? What is the purpose of creating 11th schedule? Why?
Because local problems need local solutions.
So So it's in 11th schedule. How is it solving anything? You made 73rd amendment. You created 74th amendment. You created a list. It's like, printing Lakshmikant and sticking it to the walls. Okay, done.
So the amendments,
Hmm.
the amendments say that implementing, devolving the power of 11 and 12 is a voluntary function,
Hmm.
not a compulsory one.
Hmm.
Until and unless it is made a compulsory one, if they both are dead schedules.
They both are dead schedules. Okay. So just like DPSP.
So I would compare this to
Yes,
Both
please
cannot be
put
put
it.
on same pedestal. Sir.
Both are not same. Okay.
because we can see DPSPs have been implemented.
So did 11th and 12th schedule. Kerala is the only state in the country to devolve all the 18 and 29 functions of 11th and 12th schedules.
Yes, sir.
So how can you
But
say?
in all the 30 states, only one state is doing this.
So how many did Telangana devolve?
So, I mean, at least we can say that in letter and spirit, the 11th and 12th schedules are not being implemented. If implemented, can actually
Make all the difference in the world. Okay. So when KCR says that central government is not sharing with the states, even local self government should also argue the same, right? So on a moral level, if you devolve the power to the local bodies, automatically you have moral authority to ask more power from the center. That has been the constant argument, right? So as long as local bodies are not empowered, state governments are being hypocrites. They are not asking power for themselves. They should also devolve the power. Kerala have done so. Few states have done half of the work. Okay, they have selectively given the powers to local self-government. But unless local self-government is actually empowered, right? States cannot grow. When states don't grow, center will have a lot of advantages. So I think this article is heavy deviation from his core theme on why power devolution should happen. He should focus more on power devolution part, which includes 11th and 12th schedules, and also
fiscal federalism.
take everything, the frictional points between union and states. Again, as I said, empowering interstate council, making mandatory meeting of interstate council. Such reforms should be brought in. Yes, chief ministers meeting together or interstate councils being used effectively and efficiently. The dialogic forum is not there. As long as dialogic forum is not there, everything is subjective. Okay. That's the core thing. Yes, I don't know why they wrote this particular article. They could use one line, right? The budget lacks power to transform services. To provide health and education, we need better electricity, better access to electricity. That is a single line. If we have access to electricity, health and education will improve, services will improve. Done. No? Anything new?
One stat is good, sir.
74%.
That we can use it for so many other.
Say, why 74? Why not 100? I can use the lies, damners, and statistics, right? I don't think they add any punch. So again, see, it's a common thing, right? If we take the modern day, if constitution or universal human rights have to be declared now, access to electricity will be a basic dignity. Yes, everything is interlinked to some form or the other, so they are intertwined. Yes, those the Russian dolls, right? If we take the big doll, there will be a smaller doll. So that is the picture there. So she is talking about Ukraine issue. Again, I'm really bored of discussing Ukraine issue, but Twitter is ripe with Western media and Ukraine's perspective that Russia has launched a full-scale attack on Ukraine. Yes, Russia has already launched a full-scale attack on Ukraine to annex Ukraine. So probably we'll not have any more discussions after tomorrow once Russia annexes Ukraine. But we'll see what are the thought process. So the core theme of this particular article is summarized in Indian Express.
Editorials.
This line. A crisis can be a cleanser of illusion and clarifier of minds. So not every time crisis will lead to new confusion. Sometimes crisis will lead to clarify things. That is the summary. Okay, this is the summary for what? This article. Okay. Now, what is this article saying? This article is bringing out the Western hypocrisy. Right? Why? USA and the West have repeatedly violated the agreements or the promises they have made to Russian governments. And they promised not to expand NATO, and repeatedly they have expanded NATO. Now, Russia is taking that stand where it sincerely believes that it's high time that I have to solve this particular theme. That is why it feels the only vulnerable position is Ukraine. We have to occupy it. And I am not sure whether Putin is actually interested in annexing the Ukraine or not. But what he has done is he has strategically placed himself in the best position possible. Why? Yesterday he liberated few regions. He will send the army. So there will be a general population which will act as a shield. So if anything happens, if any military intervention happens from the West, and if some innocent citizen dies, okay, that will be the burden on the West. Okay, why? Russia's statement is what? Peace troops. I'm sending peace troops to liberate those two regions, and the people in those regions are also very happy. So even if the media, Western media enters those regions, people are actually happy to be with Russia. So Russian population in those regions are happy to be with Russia, and Russia is helping them to be free. So Russia is the hero here. So any other activity or any killings will be on the burden of West. But what will Putin do? Putin will put the gun on the shoulder of these regions and will keep firing into Ukraine. So Putin's position is very safe, technically speaking. So he's safe there. Unless he's not launching, I'm not sure what is happening. But if Putin is launching a full-scale war on Ukraine, it will be morally not so strong to argue on Russia's side. But if Putin is sitting in those two regions and shooting or controlling Ukraine, I think he's very safe. Okay, you get the concept, right? Now, Putin explicitly is saying, whatever I was supposed to do, I have done. Now, give me a written agreement and we will stop everything here. That means he's saying, whatever I have done, from this point onwards, I'm open to negotiations. No going back to Crimea, no giving back the regions, nothing. From here on, Ukraine, whatever Ukraine is left, that will be a proper Ukraine, and it will never join NATO, and West has to give a written agreement. And if Putin actually believes that West is not going to keep its promise, it will annex Ukraine. That will lead to a lot of drama. Here, these are the major themes. So here, one more thing is the hypocrisy of the West in Ukraine perspective also. When Russia annexed Crimea, nationalism increased in Ukraine. And that led to second-class treatment of these Russian supporters. In those two regions, the people who are of Russian ethnicity and supporters, those people were not treated well by Ukraine, and West did not say anything about that. So that is why Russia is now having an upper hand to say peace troops. The moment it says peace troops, you cannot call it as a invasion, right? The only long-term solution is for USA to give some kind of written agreement to NATO. And she also brings in Germany and France. Both of them are not happy with the present scenario because they have something to lose because of not having access to Russia. USA is safe, just like World War II, USA is on the different coast. We are the neighbors. We have the problem. If something happens, our economies will be damaged. No. Or even if we fight proxy wars, you will fight it in Europe, not on American land. Just like Yemen war, right? Yemen war is a proxy between Russia and USA, fought using Iran and Saudi. Okay, but who lost? The Yemen country went into bankruptcy. It is on a verge of collapse, right? The same might happen to Ukraine also. Fighting here is USA and Russia, but where are they fighting? And if you remember the proxy wars like Syrian war, small, these are all skirmishes, right? Not even wars, small wars, Yemen war, Syria war, where they are all proxy wars. There itself, huge population, were wiped out because of the weapons supplied by USA and Russia. Now, directly, if they come into confrontation, the cost of escalation will be very high. Yes or no? Both of them have good amount of weapons. Russia have good weapon, and it will only create more problems in the entire region, which is not at all good for anyone involved. Okay, so that is a summary he discusses.
So, but already in the first on one side, it is true that the West and US have violated number of agreements and again asking for something in return, expecting that they
That is why
won't-
he might be forced to annex entire Ukraine. No agreement needed. Ukraine is mine. Do whatever you want to do. Impose sanctions, okay, I'm happy. But security wise, I'm safe. Right? I think that is where Germany, France, and India should have intervened and negotiated some peace deal. India is a what else? No Ukraine. Sorry, no India. India should be there.
All the invasions happened through Ukraine. That is why
Achilles heel of Russia. But again, how do you solve this? See, it's a clear black and white scenario. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. It's an Achilles heel. Pakistan is an Achilles heel for India. Tibet is an Achilles heel for China. So if we keep justifying Achilles heels, should be annexed. Okay. So I think Atlantic Ocean will be South China Sea.
in one paragraph that the author says that we have to focus more on ecosystem damage, pandemics, and taking a very
That is something we can ignore, right? Slot filler. She has to write 10 marker. Last 2 minutes, she's running out of time. She climate change. Oh, okay. She filled the slot. But right. So I think the core theme is, for long-term vested interest of India's sake. See, if you see the ancient concept of kings and the Jamindar styles, or what we call as Samant Raju, right? If I'm the king, I have subordinates. Now, if in Europe you don't actually have good subordinates, for USA to fight the war, it doesn't have a good subordinates. Like Germany, France, they are not interested to take up a war with Russia. But if you see the same in Indo-Pacific region, in Indo-Pacific region, India, Japan, Australia, small island nations, you can even pull away some of the ASEAN countries, Philippines. There are a lot of people who are willing to support you. So all you have to do is maintain that energy status, and others will be more than happy. In Europe, if you directly enter, it is antithesis to whatever you had done in Afghanistan. Why did you vacate Afghanistan? You don't want boots on the ground. You don't want your soldiers to be killed. But now, if you enter the Ukraine issue, how are you going to fight the Ukraine issue? Who is going to support? NATO. Again, your budget. 90% of NATO budget is coming from
Yes.
USA alone. So you are financially hurting yourself. You have to send the troops in the worst case scenario. You are repeating Afghanistan. So I think history is not repeated in so many levels by Joe Biden. I sincerely wish so. Right? And India should actively play a role. That is my core summary. India should emerge as a hero in this entire scenario. No?
But I don't think they're really ready for this.
See, the problem is Pakistan Prime Minister is already in the Russia, right? He's negotiating. Pakistan, Russia, China, Iran axis is forming. So if your partners are aligning, and you are not sure whether you are a partner of USA or not, you are not aligned. You still want to maintain strategic autonomy. I think if you want to maintain strategic autonomy, you need to diversify your options also. Just make a statement. Nothing. No. You see, when India says USA, you come, Russia will come. Do you really think they will come and sit and discuss? No, right? At least it's a opportunity for India to project that I am not on any party side. I am for welfare of everyone. And who knows? By this proper peace broker deal, domestic compilations of Biden can be overcome. The moment Biden says, it's okay, Donald Trump fans will say, see, that is why he's a weak president. Think from Biden's point of view. He's very scared, or he's having a re-election or whatever. So has his own compulsions, right? And America, a lot of people actually believe Russia is the villain. And even if you see the Twitter and the Western media right now, everybody is saying Russia has launched an attack on Ukraine as per Ukraine's minister. So if it was, Ukraine minister said this, that was not the statement. Their heading is like, Ukraine, Russia has already launched an attack on Ukraine. So what will a normal reader without all this knowledge will think? Russia is the villain. So that means you are still continuing your own narration that Russia is the villain. As long as you see Russia through that prism, there is no outcome. Right? Good for Russia. Right? Yes. It will only escalate, right? It is only going to become more problem. Probably 2050 scenario might come, World War III. People are already trending World War III. Nuclear attacks might happen. Good for China. Yes. Again, from tomorrow onwards, we will not even touch the Russian issue because we will finalize whether Ukraine will stay, Russia will stay, or who will be the final standing, and the last man standing. We will tell the story from his perspective. If Russia wins, we will tell the story from Russian perspective. If USA wins, Russia is the villain. So our answer will change according to the winner. So we'll conclude when the war ends. Okay. What is this?
Are there any international conventions that regulates sending of peacekeeping missions to other countries?
UN Charter, R2P. I can even bring in the doctrine of responsibility to protect. There is a doctrine called as responsibility to protect. It's an IR based doctrine. TSIR optional. Except TSIR optional. Okay. Okay. So responsibility to protect. That means if I feel that my national security is threatened even by crossing the border, I will have the luxury to enter the other country. So if Russia believes that the ethnic Russians will be harmed and it is its responsibility to protect them, international conventions can justify Russia's attack. So UN Charter will also say the same thing. So we can justify if it wants to. Again, if it is USA doing the same thing, we wouldn't have such kind of discussions. We will claim that USA is a hero entering Ukraine to protect this. So it's everything about media. Just think about it. Libya is a democratically ruled country, democratic or monarchically, whatever it is. It's a country. I decided to kill its president. I entered that country. I supported the rebels. I let the president to be killed on the road like a street dog. Okay, who did that? USA. And USA is still considered as a hero in the entire fiasco. Okay. Now, what is Russia doing? Russia is exactly doing what any other country would have done to protect its own national interests. If you are as powerful as Russia, if you have as many weapons as Russia, if you have as a legacy history of Russia, you'll probably do the same thing. But who is the villain here? Russia. Right? So I think it's all about the power of media and the ability to control the narration. So Hindu and Indian Express probably are also trying to bring that narration into a balanced fold, that Russia is not the villain, at the same time not the hero also. Russia is doing what it is doing for its best interest, strategic autonomy of Russia. USA is not actually doing strategic autonomy. USA is being a very biased approach here. It could have settled this issue by inviting Putin to White House a dinner. Yes or no? Yes. Republic Day parade. Get some agreements signed. They could have solved it. They didn't want to.
So just like when India in the beginning time we had two secessionist movements and we suppressed it, we diluted it through our own mechanisms. Isn't it the same case with Ukraine also? These people, isn't it their regional matter?
Definitely. See, what you are saying are two different things. For example, if I take the Naga issue, 70 years, still we have Naga issue. The headache is not done. If tomorrow China comes and says, you Naga people, you come and join with me, I will protect you. Okay, do you think the Naga issue will go away anytime soon? Why? they suddenly cast a booster dose, right? Okay. Whereas here with Ukraine, Ukraine is a sovereign country, which was once yours. Now let's imagine Naga is a separate country. Now again you want to get back the Nagas. So that is not how it works, right? Either you give up. Once you give up, it's done deal. You cannot bring them back in the fold unless they are willing to come and join. So these regions where Russian separatists are there, they are happy to join Russia right now. But the rest of the Ukraine population are not happy to join with Russia. I think that ethnic jingoism has increased in Ukraine, right? So, and here it's a proxy war between USA and Russia. Forget today. Go back to 15 days or go back to 3 months. What was the first statement Putin made? That I'm interested in occupying Ukraine, or I probably might deploy army towards Ukraine. That is his strategic chess move. He moved first move. What should have been the immediate reaction of USA? Before all these things, Biden was actually interested to make peace with Putin. He even met Putin, right? So there are changes in relations. So Biden was very clear that my focus is China. My focus is not Russia. So seeing that opportunity, Putin made a strategic move. Now that USA wants to focus on China, I might have a chance to negotiate with USA. And he offered a simple deal. Like, give me a written statement saying that, Ukraine belongs to no one, not NATO, not Russia. We will make it a final written agreement. I will leave it at peace. Let it be. And you will stop expanding the NATO. And I will do peacefully business with Europe. Okay, if you give me the written agreement, I won't have any issues. Then I won't have to be worried about annexing Crimea, annexing, any other regions. I will be free to do whatever I want to do. Remove some sanctions on me. I will happily do business with USA. I will be less dependent on China. I'm talking everything in favor of USA. Instead of taking this deal with both the hands, USA was skeptical because of its legacy mindset. Right? Now you are not only pushed away Russia, both of them are coming closer. Plus Russia, anyhow we enter the water. Why not swim in the entire ocean? Okay, annex Ukraine. We'll see what will happen. Right? So I think it's a failure. And here again, it's solo performance of USA, but the victims are Europeans, European and Ukrainian people, right? So America is deciding the foreign policy of Ukraine technically, or Europe. So you get the entire concept. So lot of players could not pressurize. So that is also an example for why unipolar worlds or bipolar worlds are not good. Just imagine, instead of Russia, it was China. Again, the same things, right? When the two big players fight, the interest of small countries will be suppressed and they don't have a voice in any say. So that is why we need multipolar world. What is why we need a multipolar world with many countries having a say. Germany should have a say, India should have a say, right? France should have a say. You can control. And we are reducing France to a small country, but it is a UNSC permanent member. Right, but nobody even cares about France. We understand the entire thing. Yes, multipolar worlds should be encouraged. So, again, I'm going back to the same idiom, right? If a thorn has to be removed, you need a different thorn. Both are not good. So, America is not a hero in any story. Because it's a superpower, we will say it's a hero. But in reality, America have its own issues. Russia have its own issues. Only good country is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Proud legacy of India. Tell me one bad thing about India. India, not Indians. We never occupied any country. Yes. No first use policy. We never annexed any nation. Yes. Yeah, all the good things only.
So you said bad.
Good thing. Tell me one bad thing. Okay. She's saying there is no good thing, so that is why. Sorry. There are no bad things. That is why she's saying all the good things. Okay. Now, if actually Ukraine is being annexed right now, I don't know, I haven't seen the news. If that is the case, what will be the Indian stand?
Balanced.
What are the ramifications in other area, like China? What will China take away from this entire scenario? To protect the buffer states, what can I do? Already militarized, right? Nepal, probably Arunachal Pradesh. China might get new ideas. Yes. Or it might reinforce its stand in South China Sea. See what Russia is doing in land, China is doing in ocean. So there are long-term ramifications for all this drama.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, can I put this way that one bad thing about India is it doesn't give statement when it requires to do. Like it remains silent when it does not have to be silent.
Strategic autonomy. The one answer to your question is a strategic autonomy. By being silent, is it helping me? See, that is moral hypocrisy. Again, I'm not justifying it, but again, we can call it as being realist. When, as the author says, when Iran was being occupied by USA, we did not make any statement against USA, and we made friendship with USA. Because of that, today our defense is stronger. So our business is stronger, or our friendship with USA is stronger. So in that sense, in IR, normal ethics or not normal morals won't apply. The only thing that applies in IR in ethical perspective is survival. Do whatever you have to do, you have to survive or get what is good for your own country, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
So one
So
more
in that,
thing, sir.
yeah.
Sir, you mentioned that Russia asked for a written statement from USA that Ukraine wouldn't be part of NATO. But there is one thing that is I was thinking that why doesn't Russia ask Ukraine to give the written in writing, sir, instead of asking US? Wouldn't, because Ukraine is a sovereign country.
Yeah, but again, see, now think from Ukraine perspective. If someone is coming and saying you can save billions of dollars, you don't have to worry about your security ever. Everything will be taken care by me. Such an offer does not come every other day, right? I think from Ukraine perspective, that's once in a lifetime opportunity. That if I join NATO, all my security needs will be funded by USA. Okay, so Ukraine cannot guarantee such thing. Why? Even if I promise something that I don't want to join tomorrow, let's say Russia has attacked me, then I will feel bad that I should have joined NATO. And I think even in Ukraine, the present government or whoever is in power, they are like ethnic nationalists. They are the right wing section of that country, so they will look weak if they give some promise to Russia. It's like saying to Pakistan, we will never attack you. That is a suicide for a political leader in a country like India. The same way for Ukraine.
Yes, sir.
I hope you
Got it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So these are the basic things.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Same interview questions, right? If you have to change Indian constitution, what happens?
He is just broadcasting headlines there.
Okay.
Seems like Twitter's timeline is
Good for him. Interview kind of questions, right? If you have to change the Indian constitution today, okay, what will be the major change that you have to bring? One major change. It's there in letter, right? It has to be done in spirit. Spirits cannot be imbibed through constitution.
But I don't think any changes are actually required.
Any changes are actually required. Okay.
flexibility of
Having the flexibility of the constitution.
amending the constitution.
More flexible or less flexible?
I mean, we have simple majority, we have half the states with a majority.
Hmm.
So having
More rigid.
the ability to amend our constitution as it requires, how is it? It is good.
Okay, so you don't need any changes. Summary. Okay. Drafting a new constitution impossible in present days India? It depends on who is saying. Yes or no? If BJP government wants to amend the constitution, do you think it cannot? It can. It does not need to do anything, as she have mentioned. All they have to do is have a brute force majority and pass as many bills as possible. So you are changing it more or less. But basic structure doctrine will stop certain things. Okay. But again, if I overload the basic structure doctrine system, I think it will fail. If I make 15, 16 amendments in a less amount of time, which are questionable, all the burden will be shifted to judiciary. Already judiciary burdens itself. So I can get away by changing even the basic structure for few years in spirit, if not in letter, right? So these are all the things that you need to remember. There is one more article. Money laundering, GS paper 3, internal security. Yes, money laundering is a global problem. So what are the solutions for money laundering? Base erosion, profit shifting. Is it a solution? Problem. Okay. Then global minimum corporate tax. Is it a solution? Solution. Okay. Using technology, artificial intelligence to track money. Okay, nice. Narayan, any solutions? More transparency. How? See, again, we are talking about high net worth individuals or companies, right? Money laundering is it's a big thing. If you are taking 1 crore rupee or 2 crore rupee away from India, it does not make any dent in India. But when companies do that, or high net worth individuals do that, they do it in a huge amount of volumes. Time and again we will see, right, Panama papers, Seychelles papers, Swiss bank papers, and all these things saying these many people are Indians are hiding black money. So how is it becoming easier for them to take the money out of the country? What are the steps taken by the government, like banning P notes or introducing KYC in P notes? Okay, see, if I take the money away from the country, again I have to bring it, right? Or else what am I doing with that money? If I am moving away like Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi, that is a different scenario. But many people want to evade the taxes, send that money out, bring it back into India, or like have a safe harbor, plan B. So government has made wonderful amendments, like, you know, identifying shell companies, banning them, KYCs into P notes, sorry, double taxation agreements with Singapore, Mauritius. We have made wonderful strides in all these areas. So money laundering will definitely come down. Not only that, internally also we have introduced bank reforms. Like all the banks should link their banking system to the RBI's core banking system. So they will also know loan dispersal, who gave loan to whom. So if Vijay Mallya have taken 10,000 crores from one bank, the other banks before giving loans can check whether he have a existing loan, how much loan, defaults, and all those things. Bank board bureau reforms. So all these things have been done to reduce the money laundering things. And they have given one-time amnesty schemes. Like if you disclose the money, you can pay less amount of taxes. Right now, Telangana police are doing the same thing, right? For traffic channels. If you have a challan on your bike, all you have to do is pay only 25% for this time. It will be wiped off. So such things will help you, help the nation. Exercise Milan, this is what you are saying, right? I think these kind of questions are outdated, but keeping an eye will help you score good marks in mocks, mental satisfaction. No? Crypto in money laundering. Blockchain as a solution. CBDC. So if more people are shifted to CBDC, I will trace CBDC, right? But basically, it has to be made into less cash economy. crypto, it will become a parallel exchange.
You were saying that we should move towards accepting Bitcoin.
Uh,
One perspective.
correct. Eh? Two things. One is creating parallel economies using NFT and other alternative cryptos. Okay. So if everybody have NFT in this classroom, different exchanges, different NFTs or different cryptos. So we all realize that we all have good amount of money in a parallel crypto world. Okay, so we can detach ourselves from Indian economy, right? So if you want a mobile, I will give you a mobile, you will transfer me money in the parallel world. So offline transactions can also be done using parallel crypto world. Appudu Bitcoin chese chances of that actually becoming true will increase. It will become true, right? I think he has a lot of investment in Bitcoin. Okay. So what will happen is parallel economies. Definitely parallel. We can even go for Metacoin, metaverse and all these virtual currencies. Same one, Ready Player One, right? Everything, whatever happened in Ready Player One will happen. Virtual parallel worlds we are going to create. If China, India, what are they trying to do? They are trying to create this detachment so that they will encourage blockchain. That is the core reason, right? They will encourage blockchain by having their own CBDC. While everybody is using CBDC, the technology will automatically flourish. If your ultimate goal is to make the technology flourish, you are incorporating land reforms and other reforms into data records, health records, blockchain will flourish. See, and again, blockchain is an idea whose time has come. Manam kakapena, some or the other person will develop, improve it. And in technology, it's easy to copy. So that will be the advantage. I personally believe that more people coming online, especially into this meta thing or crypto thing, will actually create parallel economies, which is not good for anybody's sake. And people are very gullible. They can be easily manipulated. Elon Musk will tweet saying, "I am going to buy this coin." Everybody will put all their hard-earned money on that particular coin, and it might become a bubble burst. So many things. And anyone own any land in metaverse?
So this concept is like how a metaverse land can be considered as a property in general.
Why not?
Like
I will tell you
It's
the
a
future. In 2045, Umang will wake up. Okay. When she wakes up, she will put this headset. Okay, probably something like this. There will be a nice, comfortable chair. Okay, probably food will be injected into you. Okay, or whatever. All you will do is wake up. When you wake up, you enter the what? Virtual world. You will walk in the virtual world just like this office room. Okay.
I don't.
See, 2045. We are in 2022.
But still owning a property in some virtual world which never existed, like, it's just confined to a VR box.
Yeah, VR box.
After removing that VR box, we are again unemployed.
Unemployed.
So there's no like
Now imagine.
importance.
No. You see, you're missing the simple logic. Imagine in 2045 when everybody logs into Facebook right now, right? Everybody will log in Facebook, YouTube. See, why are we spending so much time on YouTube? It's still a real media, right? There is a difference between you and YouTube, but you still spend 1 hour or 1.5 hours per day on YouTube. Okay. When VR becomes a norm, everybody will start entering the virtual world. That means logging in means you are entering the virtual world. Where are all the cool kids hanging in virtual world? In Banjara Hills. Where Banjara Hills of virtual world. Okay, so if everybody is hanging there, I need a that is how it happens, right? See, the person who is entering won't change. Human mentality, greed, all these things won't change, right? There also I need entertainment. Where are people hanging? Banjara Hills of virtual world. So where do I need to put my shop? In Banjara Hills. When am I buying land? In 2022, I'm buying the land in Banjara Hills of virtual world. So what will happen in 2045? It will become crores. So
It
see,
looks like a Shangeli story.
exactly. 2010, a person spent 2 bitcoins to buy a pizza. In 2010, a person actually paid in USA 2 bitcoins to buy a pizza. It was fun for him. That person must be crying in 2021. Why? Each bitcoin was like 50 lakh rupees. So I paid 1 crore rupees for 2 pizza. Is it worth it? In 2010, nobody told me keep it safe. Just keep it. If you invested $1,000 in 2010 in Bitcoin, you would have been a crorepati in 2020. If I told you in 2010, you will give the same reaction that you are giving, right? Yeah. Just think about it. So in 2026, whatever I said might become reality. Not even 2045, 2026. We are not very far off from, adapting to technology that quickly. Yes. So all these things are hard to understand. It might find funny, but people are investing in crypto world.
Then who is selling properties?
Oh, and
The
and
creator
content
of that
selling
the
is
creator
fine.
of that virtual world. The creator of that virtual world, right? See, there are already websites which see which one will become popular, we don't know. So you have to buy Banjara Hills in every every virtual world.
Sir, if I have a real Banjara Hills,
Okay.
real cool kids partying over there,
Okay.
and a real land where I can like put my shop,
Okay.
why will I waste my time in purchasing one VR box?
They are the first people who buy the land in Banjara Hills after virtual world. Right? They don't want to lose the advantage in real life and virtual life. See, let's imagine your family makes 20 lakh rupees per month. Okay, money is not a problem for you. What will you do in your life?
Something skillful.
That is your assumption. Right? I'm bored. What will I do? Spend money. How? Buy iPhone. One of my friends will come, "Arey, this virtual world, yaar, if you invest money, you will become crorepati." Okay, Papa. Okay. So people who have money in the real world are the people who are going to make the money in virtual world. Even right now, it's not that cheap, right? It's already very costly. $600, $800. Prime land. Prime land in virtual world is very costly. So if you have 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees to spend now, in 2040 probably will become crorepati. If you don't have 1 lakh rupees, and this is not applicable to 30% of India officially, right? They're struggling to eat food 3 times a day. So I'm talking about the 1%. 1% Indians. No? Oh, by the way, what makes 1% of Indians? If you have to be the top 5% of the richest Indians, what is the entry benchmark?
Income wise or
Income wise or tax wise, whatever benchmark.
All in the highest tax.
10%. If your family is paying 10%, 10 lakh rupees per annum, you are on the top 5% of Indians.
10 lakh rupees tax.
10 lakh rupees per annum income.
Acha.
You're already in the top 5%. Okay, so we are talking about these rich kids. Okay, not about the masses.
10 lakh rupees per month.
Annum.
Annum.
No, I don't entertain all such drama. I'm happy to die as a poor person in Banjara Hills rather than virtual world. Yes. What my personal dream, I will tell you, to buy a land in some Araku or some area like that, preferably Western Ghats. Okay, where I will open a center for people whose mental health is affected in the Banjara Hills of virtual world. Okay, so they will have mental problems because virtual world is virtual world. They will have mental issues. You come and talk to me. Yes.
So there was a woman other day saying that she was molested in that.
Acha, women are not safe in
Virtual world also. Yes. You are talking about virtual world. See, virtual world is a fun place, right? It is supposed to be for people who are bored with life or who want to do
But
something.
they are taking it so seriously.
Yes, the companies will obviously have a lot of profits to be made, right? It's a $1 trillion industry which we haven't even seen the. There is a e-telemedicine program launched by Government of India. That means if you have any problem, OP, like general issue, have a headache, fever, cold, cough, all you have to do is log into that particular thing, and a doctor will be available to you. E-telemedicine. And you know, when a female doctor answered the call, people abused her, people, harassed her online. So this is the the humans are like that, not only country, right? Humans are like that, where you called for a health reason, and unfortunately the person on the other side is a woman. So you took that opportunity not to not solve your problem, but to fall down. Okay, so female doctors stopped, taking calls on e-telemedicine. So now think about it. Virtual world, if something is not happening, we should be surprised. If something is happening, it's basic human nature, right? And the best suggestion is always invest in people, never in goods. If you invest in people, the rewards will be, byproduct. You'll have long-term quality life. You'll have better relations. You'll have someone to talk to. You'll learn something new, something productive, right? So even if you become crorepati, what will you do with the money? That is my personal opinion. See, as a Hyderabadi, the worst. Even if I become a billionaire in Hyderabad, what will I do? I will still eat the same pani puri, samosa, kachori, right? The same paradise biryani or bawarchi biryani. What will I change anything differently? So money does not make any huge difference to, at least to Hyderabad. It should not. What should make a difference is people, quality of life. When you are in want of something, like someone to talk to, you should not even think of whom to call. You have someone. Having those 10 people in life is the best investment ever, rather than anything else. The other time is books. Okay, Banjara Hills and all this is 1 day fine, 2 days fine, 3 days. What will you do for 4th day? Yes, buy new land. Okay. The Chinese government is very proactively blaming. Yes, correct only, right? China is supporting Russia. Should there be a third world war? Map pointing? Expect.
Yes.
Golan Heights. Where are Golan Heights? Golan Heights are in Syria.
Between Lebanon, Israel, Jordan.
So whose lands are occupied by whom? Lebanon is on that side. Where are Golan Heights? Golan Heights are between Israel and Syria, right? It's a Syrian land occupied by Israel. Golan Heights. Golan Heights is on right side. Lebanon is on top.
It's
It's surrounded. Okay. Okay. In that sense. Now it is officially. General perspective. Official stand of India. Okay. One China policy. Any other prelims questions? Just yesterday we have discussed headline inflation. Santosh, what is headline inflation in India? CPI? CPI is the headline inflation. Any subcategory within the CPI? Consumer food price index. Right? CPI combined. Consumer price index combined is the benchmark for retail inflation. So not reading properly the static part. How many of you are done with the 4 pillars? Polity, history, economy, geography. At least single reading. PYQ.
2 subjects answer, 2 subjects.
What do you do when I say PYQ?
The topics.
You see the questions. You see the next question. You see the next question. That is PYQ. You don't do anything then. First thing is to make sure that everything is in brain. The moment you see a word, you should be reminded whether it's a previous question or not. The only thing is to know as many PYQs as possible. So polity, history, economy, geography. Do every PYQ. Just see. Don't do PhD. Don't do anything. Okay. Next, there is a preparatory classes by some other, right? So if you can get access to those PDFs, they will also add value to the PYQs. There is a book by IFS officers or someone also on the PYQ. So you don't need all these things. If you have time and money, you can buy them, or else you can just focus on the topics. So first, master all the PYQs of all the 4 subjects, at least last 15 years. Just see the questions, move on. That means next time when you see a particular line in a newspaper also, your brain should remain, this is a PYQ. Then you start adding value. Okay, the same you can do for other subjects. First reading should be done. Polity, history, economy, geography. Then environment and biodiversity is a good important area, science and tech. If you master this, then art and culture is task 50-50. Laga to laga, nahi to. Right? So ancient medieval art and culture, even art and culture can be mastered very easily without any stress. The only headache is ancient and medieval India. Okay, so you should not be worried about these 2 things in the initial stages. First, you have 7 other subjects to master: polity, history, economy, geography, environment, biodiversity, science and tech, art and culture. These should be mastered. Mastered means when I ask you, tell me all the 12 schedules in a list, you should be able to tell. That is mastering, and that will come over a period of time. So in day 1, don't master anything. Just master PYQs. You should know the topics. When you read the book, you should be comfortable. Right? You should know the core areas, where to focus, where not to focus. When you read spectrum, are you mugging up all the 900 pages, or are you focusing more on 1857 to 1947? That difference has to be understood. Okay. Right. Then what else? Then do see questions, read the book, then do PYQs. Read the book, read the questions, read the book, then do PYQs, then again come back and read the book. But complete all the 9 subjects or 8 subjects first. Then again come back. Don't do PhD only on polity. Sir, polity is my favorite subject. I will do only polity for 5 times. 8 times you will do polity. You don't even know ABCD in art and culture. You are perfectly suited for disaster. Yes or no? Your result will be a disaster. So don't do that. Master all the 8 subjects. It must be done. It has to be done. No other option. Writing mocks.
So, like for example, if I read 5 chapters today, that related mocks,
If they are available,
next day morning, 40-50 questions
from that mock paper.
relating to the same.
SFG.
No, sir, vision.
Okay.
SFG.
We'll discuss tomorrow.